What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're going to do something just a little bit different. I'm going to go over all the dinosaurs that are seen in Jurassic Park. Now, Jurassic Park is very special when it comes to dinosaurs in media in general. It basically has set the standard for what dinosaurs are and how they are portrayed in media almost all the way up to present day. Like, only recently have we actually started to go with the more scientifically accurate portrayals of them, when almost every other bit of media has just been based off of what they've done with Jurassic Park. So I just thought it'd be fun to kind of just go through a list of all the dinosaurs that actually appear in Jurassic Park. And yeah, if this video gets, does relatively well, I do plan on going through the novel and the rest of the movies. And yeah, so please stay tuned for that. But before we get into the video, guys, please remember to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on those notification bells so you never miss another video from me, and drop comments down below with what you guys think about Jurassic Park. And let's go ahead and get into this video. The logo that started it all, Jurassic Park. So the first dinosaur we see in Jurassic Park is the Velociraptor. You see the big one, which she has been dubbed, kill a person during the transport. It's the opening scenes of the movie. And you never actually get to see the Velociraptor, you just see him yelling shoot her and everything, and the guy being pulled back into the crate. Then we get this famous scene here, which is the baby Velociraptor that hatches from the egg whenever they're going through the DNA labs. This is the one where Alan Grant holds it in his hand, and he's kind of asked what species is this, and Wu is like, oh, this is a Velociraptor, and that's kind of what sets into them going off to see them eat the cow, but you never actually see the raptors do that, you just hear them. Then a Velociraptor nest with broken eggshells is found by Alan, Lex, and Tim. The eggs are shown to have hatched with basically little two-toed footprints going away. It was never confirmed that those were actually Velociraptors until Jurassic World and some of the promotional stuff for that. We'll get into that in a separate video. One of the three remaining Velociraptors, that's the big one and her two subordinates, attacks Ellie inside of the maintenance shed after killing Mr. Arnold, with the famous scene is the arm falling off and touching her. She turns around, it's just the arm. Then two of them are actually, while that is going on, stalking Muldoon. Now this is particularly, we believe to be the big one, is the one that actually kills him, and it comes out of the grass. That's where you get the famous clever girl line. And they basically enact the scene that Alan Grant explains to the kid in the beginning of the movie, how you'll have one here diverting your attention, then one will come in from the side and it'll get you. The next time we see the raptors is actually in the famous kitchen scene, with two of the raptors hunting Lex and Tim. They end up catching one of them in a freezer, and that continues into them kind of being chased throughout the place, and they end up in the kind of the main area where everybody comes in, and that's the famous scene where Rexy shows up and kills the Velociraptor. The next dinosaur we see, which is technically the first dinosaur we actually lay eyes on, is the Brachiosaurus. It's the first dinosaur the group sees when they first get to the island and they're riding in the Jeep. But this is the one that gives the famous where it rises up on its hind legs to get the branch that it can technically already reach. And Brachiosaurus actually aren't capable of doing that, but this is one of the most iconic scenes, and it's replicated down the line in other movies. After that, we get to see two of them are crossing this lake, and they're actually near a herd of Parasaurolophus. And this is just one of the most iconic scenes that the movie actually gets, and it actually leads into the old kind of myth that, Brachiosaurus actually spent most of their time in water. The next time we see the herd, it's actually in the distance when Alex, Lex, and Tim are trying to sleep in the tree. And Alan Grant actually sits out and calls to them, and Lex doesn't want them to come over. When they wake up in the morning, one is actually eating out of the tree. This is where Alan kind of pulls it closer, and the kids get to actually touch it, and they interact with it. It's actually the second dinosaur interaction that they actually, it's actually the third dinosaur interaction they actually get where they can touch it. And this is the one that famously sneezes on its legs. So the third dinosaurs we actually see, we only see them for this one scene, and it's this herd of Parasaurolophus. This herd is living with the Brachiosaurus, and they're all getting drinks from this lake. And as you guys can see, this is all of them kind of getting closer. The fourth dinosaur we see in Jurassic Park, technically in line, is a sick Triceratops, and it's seen while they're on the tour. It's the only dinosaur they actually see on the tour up until the Tyrannosaurus attacks. It's our first look at an up-close dinosaur, and this was actually an animatronic, so they were actually touching it, it was breathing, and everything. This also leads to the famous line where Ellie's kind of like digging through the poop, and it's like, this is one big pile of shit. Line from Malcolm, and this is where they find out that the dynasties, they're getting sick because they're eating the lilac berries. Basically, on their migration around the island, every time they get to a spot, while they're eating gastroliths, they'll actually be eating the lilacs, and that's what's getting them really sick. And it's mentioned this happens once about every 6 weeks, and that's just their migration. And then we get to the big one, the most famous dinosaur to come out of probably this entire trend. We get to Rexy, the T-Rex. The T-Rex is first seen when it breaks out of its paddock after Dennis Nedry turns off the power, where it basically attacks the humans and cars. This is probably the most famous scene in the entire movie, but it leads into the next time we see it. The next time we see the T-Rex is actually after it, when they go to get the kids, and it is seen chasing after them in the Jeep in the famous Must Go Faster scene. T-Rex probably couldn't actually go that fast, but it's really kind of nice that it's one of the most famous scenes in the movie. After that, you see the T-Rex where it is hunting a herd of Gallimimus, where it actually causes it to stampede towards Alan and the kids, and where then it bursts out of the trees and kills the one Gallimimus. And after that, next time you see Rexy is when she arrives just in the nick of time to save the day, fighting off the remaining velociraptors that weren't trapped. And then this is where we get the iconic scene of her roaring and the banner falling, and one of the most famous scenes and probably more duplicated scenes from media that came out of Jurassic Park. But after the T-Rex, we actually saw the Dilophosaurus. A pair of Dilophosaurus kills Nedry while he's trying to get to the ship. One essentially plays with him until it reveals its frills and it spits its venom into his face. Whereupon after that, a second individual is actually waiting for him in the car. This may or may not be the same one. I believe it's two separate ones. And basically that's where they eat Nedry alive. And then the last dinosaur we actually see is the Gallimimus. A herd of Gallimimus is essentially running from the T-Rex, and they stampede right at Alan, Tim, and Lex. And they have to hide from them behind the log. And like I said previously, this is where you see Rexy burst out and kill one of the Gallimimus. And Gallimimus, for one of the dinosaurs that's kind of a mainstay, it only appears in a few of the movies. And it never really gets as much screen time as it could. Yeah, so then we can go into a few kind of, I guess, honorable mentions. These are dinosaurs that you don't see in the show, but they are named, and they're named in the scene where Dennis Nedry is collecting all of the DNA samples. Those dinosaurs being Ceratosaurus, Stegosaurus, and Metrocanthosaurus. That's pretty much it, guys. Only 7 dinosaurs actually appeared on screen throughout the entire runtime of Jurassic Park. And these dinosaurs literally set the standard for portraying dinosaurs in media and got all kinds of people like myself interested in learning about these kinds of creatures and things. So I just thought it would be a great idea to go ahead and start going over them and coming out with dinosaurs in media and maybe other animals that are being portrayed in media. Now, these dinosaurs were by no means portrayed correctly. They were just kind of based off of what we knew about them from the time. All of them have like kind of shrink-wrapped skulls, which isn't true. Their teeth don't actually hang out. Most of them actually had lips. Their wrists, which are actually like this in the show, that's actually, they would have had broken wrists for them to be pronated. They are like this. But the beauty of it is it's actually just straight up said in the show that they are mixing DNA, and they mix DNA throughout this entire series. So most of the time when it comes to what the dinosaurs of Jurassic Park look like, you kind of just have to take it for a grain of salt because they aren't purebred dinosaurs. But if you guys like this video, guys, please let me know so that way I can continue to do more. I do plan on at least covering all the Jurassic Park movies, but if these do well, I will continue on to like Godzilla, Skull Island, other types of media, and basically other TV shows that heavily portray wildlife and animals, prehistory, and things like that. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And until next time, guys, I will see you in the next video.